I'm going to continue with the videos on basic word problems from college algebra or related courses. This one deals with coins, and it's just one example because most of these can be done very similar to this procedure here. So let's read the problem. It says a coin collection consists of 65 coins. There are nickels and quarters in the collection. If the value of the collection of coins is 7.25, how many nickels are there in the collection? Okay, so we're going to, again, solve the problem by setting up an equation. Generally, that's what your instructor is going to want you to do. Sometimes there will be different procedures. In some cases, you might be asked to solve it, a problem using more than one variable, 2 or 3, depending. In this particular case, and like the ones we've done before, this is going to be done with one variable. So we read the problem, make sure we understand what it's asking for. Set up a diagram if you need to. In this case, it's pretty straightforward. We want to know the number of nickels in the collection. So here's the way I set it up. X equal number of nickels in the collection. I know there's 65 coins altogether, so if I let X represent the number of nickels in the collection, then 65 minus X has to represent the number of quarters in the collection. Okay, so I get that set up right there. And then to set up the equation, then it's pretty straightforward. If I know the number of nickels, I multiply that by 0.05, and that'll give me the value of the nickels. If I know the number of quarters, 65 minus X, I multiply that by the value of each quarter, which is 0.25. So the sum of those should give me the value of the total collection, or in the collection, which is 725. So here's the way we set it up then. 0.05x, so the number of nickels, which is x times its value of each nickel, is 0.05. Number of quarters, 65 minus x, times the value of the quarter, 0.25. The sum of these two values should give me the value of the collection, which is 7.25. So then it's just a matter of solving this for x, which is the number of nickels. So here's the setup. Just multiply through there. So 0.05x plus, and then I multiply 0.25 times 65. So I'm going to multiply through the parentheses there. 0.25 times 65 is going to give me 16.25. Minus, and then 0.25 times the x, so this will be minus 0.25 x, and of course that's equal to the 7.25. So 0.05x plus 16.25 minus 0.25x is equal to 7.25. Okay, then I have one equation with one variable, so generally what you want to do there is isolate the variable. So I combine the x's on the left side, 0.05x minus 0.25x. That gives me a minus 0.2x. Okay. And then the 16.25, I get it to the other side. Okay, so that's the same thing as adding negative 16.25 to both sides. So if I add it to this side, obviously that's going to cancel that. And then on the right side, 7.25 minus the 16.25 will give me a minus 9. Okay, so I combine the x's, the x terms, and then the 16.25 goes over, change the sign. Okay. And I get this. Now it's just a matter of dividing both sides by the negative 0.2. So to solve for x, I divide this side by negative 0.2. That cancels that, leaves me with 1x, or just x. And on the other side, negative 9 divided by negative 0.2. Obviously the negatives cancel out, So when I divide by the 0.2, this gives me 45. Okay, so x is equal to 45, and that's the number of nickels. Okay, so the solution to the problem, they asked us for the number of nickels, that's 45. Obviously, if they had asked for both the nickels, the number of nickels and quarters, then you know there's 65 altogether. So 45 from 65 gives me 20. So in that case, you would say the number of quarters is 20. And you can easily check that if you go ahead and compute this out, the value is going to be 7.25. Okay, so again, I want to clarify again that there's more than one way to solve a problem. Sometimes if you're in a algebra class or basic algebra class, the solution is going to depend on what your instructor asks you for. Sometimes he'll ask you to solve the problems using one variable, sometimes more than one variable. This is solved with one variable. Clear this. But I want to point out that this could also be solved using two variables. Okay, so I could let x, say, represent the number of nickels, and let y represent the number of quarters. So now I have two variables, x and y. Okay. And it works very similar, except I might have two equations. Okay. So what I would do in that case, here's the way I would set it up. Okay. X is the number of nickels, y is the number of quarters, the total number of coins is 65, so it tells me that x plus y is equal to 65. And then again, the second equation, similar to what I did over here with the one variable, number of nickels times the value of each nickel, 0.05, plus the number of quarters times the value of each quarter, 0.25, gives me the value of the collection, 7.25. Now if I were to solve this system using any of the methods that I've covered in some of my other videos, you're going to get the same solution. X will be 45 and y will be 20. Okay, so that concludes this particular video, and I'll continue with another video on basic word problems from algebra. So if these are helping you, please subscribe, and if you have other suggestions that might help you in whatever course you're taking right now, please post them and I will consider those, especially if you're subscribing to my channel. So we'll see you in the next video.